Hello everyone, my name's War of Noise because that's what this is. And one of the sounds we heard there for a little while was Defund the Police. It came and went as these things do because a purpose was served and the media moved on to something else. But what did it mean? It appears a lot of people were not too sure. A lot has been said about that. Everything that could be said, I think. And no one conclusion was met. For those who support this slogan, believe in it, and wish to see action taken because of it, I hope you're willing to consider something that you might not like at first. What you think it means is not what the rest of your side, as you see it, think it means as well. There was a lot of debate around this, yet what I found to be occurring was the debate covered every possible version of what people knew it meant, yet everyone was stating their own version as if it was universally true. What I was seeing was the supporters of Defund the Police believing their personal version of what that meant was what it truly meant, and what the rest of their side meant by it as well. These ongoing statements of what it really means were always directed at the opposition, but never the rest of the supportive crowd, the our side. As such, this created a lot of misdirection, inaction, infighting, and anger. This was a vague slogan created by who knows, adopted by a decentralized movement set on parameters of action that are themselves vague. This was destined to go nowhere. As far as I was able to determine, the slogan Defund the Police ultimately turned out to mean one of four separate things to everyone who heard it. None of these, at least to me, could coexist. The first one, and probably the most popular interpretation, which I personally agree with in some cases, is remove some funding from police budgets at a city level and reallocate that money to social programs designed to reduce the workload off of police and give tasks not requiring armed intervention to social or mental health workers. This was done in Colorado, and it actually appears to be working quite well. This came in response to the fact that yes, certain police budgets across the nation have become absolutely fucking astronomical, eclipsing the budgets of other city programs and in some cases all other city programs combined. I believe the police should be paid well, given a healthy retirement, and are properly equipped, but it has to stop somewhere before other city programs suffer. Another interpretation was to simply cut a chunk out of the police budget and remove it entirely from the city budget. This was probably the least popular way to see it, and one I can't see working. All I'll say is policing will simply become less effective, and I guarantee you that the proportional taxes collected won't be lowered. A third interpretation is actually not to remove any funding from the police at all, but simply reallocate a chunk of funding within the police departments to new or existing programs that provide better training. These programs will be designed for de-escalation tactics, better community outreach skills, awareness of the community that is being policed, and so on. The idea behind this would be to ideally create a police force less prone to pulling the trigger. I noticed that conservatives who agreed with the idea that police reform needs to occur tended to take this route. And the last interpretation, the worst one, but sadly, as far as I could tell, at least the second most popular, was total police abolition. For those who are on the side of Black Lives Matter, social justice, and support the idea of defunding the police, and don't believe police abolitionism and prison abolitionism as well is a real thing, I guarantee you it is. I am sure people you know believe this, people you consider peers and friends. Yet you are probably under the impression they are on the same page as you. They aren't. I encourage you to try and perhaps see if this is the case with anyone you know. This idea is provably awful and disparagingly prolific. Let's just ask the city of Baltimore, Maryland, how that went when they demanded the police back off, stay away, and stop noticing crime. Murders skyrocketed, and then the residents got angry at the police for not doing their jobs and demanded them back. Let's also ask how that went in Brazil, where a police strike occurred and the military had to be called in because chaos ensued. When it was possible for them to take records, they recorded 147 homicides. It's pretty clear where this all leads. Side note, Dismantle the police and abolish the police mean the same thing. If you don't believe this is the case, stop lying to me. It's not going to work. If you truly believe this is the case, then either shit or get off the pot and start demanding something impossible, or remove this idea from your mind entirely. Personally, I also believe that those who support the idea of police abolition actually don't believe it. They support the idea of police replacement. They're lying and they know it. No police means chaos, and chaos breeds opportunity for takeovers, and what will end up occurring is a stratified society of rule by gang and militia, with the rich living in their high towers with private well-armed security. This take also caused the most damage to defund the police, and I think Black Lives Matter as a whole. If you're one who believes this is the right answer, and you do not have a perspective based in reality, and I highly encourage you to go volunteer for a while at the local morgue to see what you're really asking for. One thing I also noticed the police abolitionists refuse to answer is, how will we address violent crime? The only answers given were not answers at all, but condescension and anger. I personally believe that policing does indeed need reform. I believe there needs to also be a conversation around this that is based in reality, and that does not involve obtuse political ideologies and racial puritanism. I doubt that will ever happen, though. Maybe it will. I don't know. Until then, or not, as usual, tune out next time.